Hello everyone, this is Jacob Reda with TheLine.Info, and Friday, March 6th marked the final day of the Utah legislative session for 2026. As you can probably hear, there's still a lot going on. There's a lot of activity going on right now at the legislature, but by midnight tonight, it will all be over until next year. So, for the past 45 days, lawmakers of the Utah State Capitol have debated and passed hundreds of bills that will shape policy across the state, covering everything from education and infrastructure, elections, immigration, and the courts. Here's a look at the major themes of this year's session, some of the most controversial legislation, and what happens next. Like every year, the biggest item lawmakers had to approve was the state budget. This year's spending plan totals more than $30 billion, funding programs across education, transportation, water infrastructure, and public safety. A large portion of that funding is aimed at addressing the pressures that come with Utah's continued population growth, including building out roads and infrastructure, expanding water management programs, and increasing support for public schools. Education remained one of the legislature's top priorities this year, with several bills addressing classroom technology, student privacy, and targeted programs for underserved communities. And one of the most closely watched and controversial bills this session involves the Utah Supreme Court. Lawmakers approved legislation that would expand the court from 5 justices to 7. Supporters say the move will help the court manage its workload as Utah continues to grow, but critics say the timing raises concerns about the political influence over the judiciary, particularly with ongoing legal disputes related to legislative redistricting. And finally, water and environmental policy remained another priority this session. Several bills focused on improving drinking water infrastructure, expanding soil conservation programs. Given Utah's long-term drought challenges, lawmakers have continued to emphasize water management as a major policy issue. So even though the legislative session has ended, the process is still not quite finished yet. The bills that are passed now go to the desk of Governor Spencer Cox, who can now either sign them into law, allow them to go into effect without signature, or he can veto them. In Utah, most legislation takes effect about 60 days after the session ends, which means many of the new laws passed this year will go into effect in May. As far as any budget measures are concerned, those will go into effect on July 1st, which is the start of the state's fiscal year. But for now, lawmakers have wrapped up their work at the state capitol until the next legislative session in 2027. This has been Jacob Reda with TheLine.Info. Thank you for watching.